Hey YouTube, the reason why I'm doing this video is part two to the original thing that I was talking about Genesis 1 through Genesis 6 1 through 5. Um the biggest thing a lot of people don't know is that we read the Bible and we want to know how the Bible relates to real life, right? So it's kind of like reading the law. Um, the law relates to real life. The law for us was like a holy Bible, how it relates to real life, what was put in it, and how to keep people in line and in order. So the original architects created the law, the ones who were structuring a functioning society that's supposed to operate for the good of all mankind. They created law to maintain order. So when I began to read the law, I started noticing that agencies didn't want governing over themselves. So a lot of the laws that governed them and who you were supposed to call were removed from the law when I began to study it, going through this epidemic or going through this situation that I'm going through. I started like getting into it, like I'm reading. I say, well, I know I should find who supposed to control this, who am I supposed to contact. Um, if this doesn't work, you're supposed to be contacting this person and all of that. And I started finding out that in Florida, they had removed certain laws that govern the body of agencies and hospitals and these institutions, which that should never be removed, but it was removed. And biblically, it's somewhat the same thing going on biblically. Like certain things that aren't supposed to be removed is being removed so they can do the finger pointing. Why are these people in the state that they're in? It's because you was corrupt trying to enslave them. You dumbfounded these people and tried to enslave them. But nobody wants to touch on those issues because we starting to get to the point where we feel like God, you know, gave up on us. God doesn't care about us. Or we're starting to feel like, well, God's the enemy. I can't tell you how many times I have heard, oh, y'all serving that white porcelain pale face God because you believe in the word of God. But at the same time, in the word of God is the truth that other people have tried to hide, or they say, oh, you got to decode the Bible. You should not have to decode the Bible. God isn't decode. The truth is the truth. You tell the truth. It's no reason to decode, but the reason why they have the Bible coded the way it's coded, because we have people of God that are sinful and they have been doing a lot of wrong and stuff. And it's more going on to that. We have Jesus. Jesus was trying to save the people and everything. He ends up on a cross, crucified. We hear the story of this is how they did my servant and my servants that I had sent and all this stuff, trying to maintain control of the vineyard. But then it's getting worse because the state of the people now are worse. Why is the state of the people so worse? Because we're in a matriarch system. This matriarch system plays on your intelligence. That's why they want your intellectual properties. What are you going to do with my intellectual properties? You're going to play on them. These laws that and these rules to have a job, these rules to have steady sources of income now is different because we're dealing with the Antichrist head on, and the Antichrist isn't going anywhere. I'm gonna be real with you. The Antichrist been winning wars for quite some time without being pushed back or stopped. So we got people dying and we're expecting the resurrection. Oh, we're going to live again. And no, we starting back over again with the Antichrist still in charge. We have so many different things that was unknown to us. Like you're getting stories like, oh, you're not supposed to sit up there and fight for yourself. You're always supposed to protect yourself. You're supposed to protect yourself and others. But these are the stories that they're telling people biblically because they refuse to sit up there and tell people the truth. The truth is, we've been lied to for a while. The truth is, a lot of our pastors and our ministers are certified homogers. The truth is, some of the ones that they lying on talking about they homogers ain't. Some of the ones that they lying on talking about their child molesters, those aren't child molesters. These people are going through because they serve God. They trying to make them child molesters. They trying to make them look at a little child private areas. They're trying to sit up there and compel them to be child molesters and everything else. Some of the ones that they telling you gay, they've been raping them anally and they can't stop them because they can't see them. They cannot move. They can't do nothing because they are part of a matriarch system. The daughters that was taken, talking about the Son of God, they were done the same by the sons of God. They were done the same ways as the wives of the devil. They were raped. But these are their famous men. They were raped. A lot of women were taken and raped because of their beauty. And like I said, they told them to disguise it. But this is not of God. Now, who do you think God gonna be angry with? You think God gonna be angry with the woman that got raped or the person doing the raping? But guess what? These people are angry. They're upset. They're not angry with God. They upset because they've been crying out to God and they feel like God ain't answering. When God's sitting up there, he fighting the war himself. Because guess what? On every forefront that says in God we trust, right now it's under attack. Our government is under attack. Our hospitals are under attack. Our hospitals are under attack more than they have ever been. Our law enforcement officers are under attack by being blinded, by going through everything that I have explained that I've been going through. Our law enforcement's been going through, and I'm a part of law enforcement. I'm not in it now, but I am former law enforcement. I have been going through rape situations. I have been going through vision compromise. I have been going through hearing compromise. I have been going through a multitude of issues that would probably make a person say, hey, that one there's a little bit off the rocks. Honestly, I've been going into all out warfare, and these are intentional devices used with an intentional purpose, with a mindset in place to actually do this. And nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about how we're trying to just work a job, mind our own business. Oh no. You're gonna either join the Antichrist willingly or unwillingly. The Antichrist is everything against the word of God. And now they're trying to play with the word of God. I can't tell you because I'm going through vision compromise that I can't even receive the proper word of God as it is written because they changed the word of God. Ain't no dung in no doggone Bible. Malachi talked about them being whores and falling into hoism. They talking about putting dung on somebody's face and talking stupidness. But this is what they're doing to the children of God and the righteous of God. They putting feces and urine on these people and holding them in assimilation type situation. And we talk about it, but nobody's saying anything about it. And this is Satan. Satan is assimilation. Satan, this hell that they talking about putting people in, and you're gonna learn that you live far beyond what they're talking about. 120 years. You live way beyond that. Those 120 years they trying to sell you is a boat full of lies. You got a couple of forevers, but they lie. And they lie like that to sit up there and keep people dumbfounded. When you truly come to God and God actually deliver you from them, you start to wake up to a lot of people got away with a lot of things that they weren't supposed to get away with. We are the city that they talk about the blind, completely blind, and they turn around and they brought the elephant in, and one man touched the trunk and didn't know what it is. That elephant is the stuff that they're doing. They brought the stuff in, fighting against the people, enslaving the people. The people did not know what it was. They were dumbfounded, so they couldn't call the elephant an elephant or the enslavement because they were dumbfounded. Policies, procedures get changed, removed because we speak out against certain stuff. I could not tell you guys, I had to report, you know, vendor registration for unlawful stuff being registered in there. They said they were going to remove it, but yet and still they did their job. And I had to remind them, look, they're hiding it now from the people that's in authority, because the people in authority say, oh no, we're not going to have this. But what happens when you got people connected to you that's in authority over you or working with your company that's saying, okay, I'm only going to be side by side by this person to find out what I need to know to make sure I destroy their company? You got prestigious organizations. We have several organizations that believe in helping people, but their names are being used for the destruction of people. And they are in God we trust. Because in order to get an organization, you have to trust. It's all up under God and God who we trust. And either you're going to sit up there and you're going to trust in the word of God, or you're going to sit up there and you're going to find out the truth about a whole bunch of stuff that you don't want to find out the truth about. You're going to end up a demonic possession where you can't think, you can't function, you can't do nothing because you're in a position where you didn't even realize who God was. We talk about night. Oh, weeping may endure for one night though. What happens when we never see the day of light? I haven't really ever seen the day of light, man. My nights are extremely long. My days, it feels like it needs to end because it's overheated. It's extremely hot. Nobody knows what I go through. But let's be real, I have never seen the sun before, but the day that they show me is extremely hot. I have never seen night before, but the night that they show me isn't what I envisioned God wanted it to be. There is so much more going on with our people than what's being said. We are living in demonic cities. These are demonic entities in demonic cities. We are living in cities that are like Sodom and Gomorrah. They consider themselves the Son of God when they have no God that they serve. They consider themselves God. So we're living in Eden. Eden was created to give man peace, rest, and tranquility. To till the grounds isn't really as bad of a work as some people say, because you're tilling your own ground in your own vineyard. You have authority over this vineyard. I have given this vineyard to you. You have authority over it. He says to Adam and to Eve, right? But we hear the story that God was against Adam and Eve. How can you create something and you're against what you create? I'm thinking about my children as I gave birth to them. I was never against them. But I must tell you that my choices of giving birth to children weren't my own. My daughter's choices of giving birth to children wasn't her own. We don't talk about the situational things that are going on, because half the women, if we look at what's really going on, they would not be sexually active. If they only knew the truth, they would not be sexually active. So what you think they do? They hide the truth. Remember, I said I was raped and I could not scream out for help and I could not contact people for help, even though I woke up with a man on top of me and I was working at a prison. I could not scream out for help. But then in this same situation, working at a prison or whatever, I'm starting to notice the same people that was around me in that environment, I'm now seeing in my everyday life. Is that fair to me? Because what I thought was may not have been, and what I thought may have been may have not, maybe wasn't. Is it wrong for me to say that I see police officers and their name and their spelling out of their names and everything says is that they are in the medical field, how they register their names? We have a multitude of issues. And I'm not trying to be on Shutter Island telling the whole story, but at the same time, I ain't got no other choice but to tell the story. On my stripes may ye be healed. There's a lot of things going on without resolution to them. There are a lot of battles we're fighting, and it seems like it's not coming to an end, and it's not because of our choice. I mean, I'm one person. The last thing I ever want to do is go into war. But at the same time, am I even given a choice? Am I given a choice? I must fight for my civil rights. Am I given a choice? I'm in the courts fighting for my family, fighting for what should be mine. Am I given a choice? I'm trying to work a job and be productive in society. Am I given choices? This is the Antichrist. This is the anti implementation of the Word of God. Am I given a choice? They said angels are not given a choice. Right now, we're wrestling against angels for our blessing. But these aren't the angels of God. We're wrestling against man for our blessings. But we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the spirit that has possessed the man. And the principles now that are anti-Christ, anti-implementation, anti-actually doing what is right, anti-actually living for God, anti-Christ, anti not serving God in the appropriate manner. We're fighting against this. We're fighting against unlawful policies and procedures. We're fighting against homosexuality being introduced to the schools. I understand a lot of homosexuals think that they were naturally born gay. They thought that this was normal. Trust me, I have been through those issues. That's how I can tell you how to heal them. I have been through that. Nobody's going to talk about what they've been through. I've been through questioning my sexuality. I've been through the fact as a child, them saying, hey, we want her as a man. We don't want her as a woman. I've been through that. I lived through that. She is strong enough to be a man and she will become a man one way or another. And guess what? I did become a man of the female origins. Thank you for that. Where I don't need a man or have to depend on a man, I can get what I need to get done myself. But it only made me more independent and made me not want to be sexually active or involved with anyone. We are dealing with a time where we have to really address the afflictions and demonic possessions that are being forced on our children. Our children are going to school and they're being forced to become women, our men, because they're being taken by the sons of God and taught that they're going to be wives instead of men. But they ain't heard about the daughters of God. How they're taking the daughters and saying they're going to sit up there and make wives of them too. Because we're not just talking about the sons of God that's involved in this, we're talking about the daughters of God that are involved in it as well. It's not changing. We got male and female that are attacking their own race, saying that they are gods over them and are not, that are taking women, men, children, or whatever, and trying to do a prophecy. I'm going to call it the prophecy over these kids and over these people's lives instead of letting God ordain his will over them. And then they get mad and say, oh, that be boring. Everything that's of God is boring. Let me be real with you. It's not boring because we still be in warfare with y'all. It's never a boring or a dull day. We allow our people to sit up and be safe and not even know that we're fighting a fight against y'all. That's where they feel safe at. But what you don't know is that the affliction hasn't stopped. The burdens haven't stopped. We got people on the outside of cities that are fighting the wars, making sure that y'all can't come in this mess, keeping up foolishness. But at the same time, you have infiltrated those forces and now we fighting head on. Our children are being awakened to a life of servitude for a reason, to sit up there and fight against it. We're being awakened to civil wars to fight against it. You are down here in the South. The South has never, South Florida had never been infiltrated. We weren't slave people. That North probably was, North Florida was, but South Florida wasn't. Now the whole state of Florida infiltrated on some slave foolery. Everywhere around Lake Okeechobee, you talking about sovereignty, ain't none sober. All drunk, all into this filth of possession, all of it taken, none sober, none sovereignty. We said that sovereignty was slavery, and this is the craziest thing. It's not. Sovereignty was tired of being attacked by the government. And they weren't even being attacked by the government. They were attacked by agents that were using the government name. Right now, we are attacked by agents using law enforcement, and they don't even work for law enforcement. But we have to still report it to law enforcement like they work for law enforcement until law enforcement wake up and say, hey, these people don't work for us. Or if they do work for us, we finna deal with it. But we're dealing with a two-faced nation. We're dealing with a nation that is split down the middle. Some want to wear white, some want to wear black. And that's a shade of gray. All of it's gray right now because all of it's doing wrong. We have our daughters being smuggled right here in America. You born and raised in America. How can someone take your passport? I should be able to apply for my birth certificate in any state that is connected in the state of Florida. Guess what they're saying? None of our systems intertwine. I have to go back to my original state to actually be able to pick up my birth certificate, which is odd to me because birth certificates is universal. You're supposed to be able to pick up your birth certificate in any state. But guess what? None of their systems are connected. I should be able to report to any Social Security office and pick up my Social Security card. It's a lot going on, people. Wake up. You can't pick up everything. And this is the craziest thing. All of this is them attacking entities, people, cities. The cities are created through entities. So when you sit up and you talk about Sodom and Gomorrah, these people went off to make a name for themselves and build a great city. These was architects. They're saying to themselves, I'm going to build a perfect city. I'm going to build a perfect vineyard. And they're doing it like God was doing it. But guess what? They want you to be ashamed of the fact that you're saying, hey, I'm going to do what God says do. I'm going to do like my master does. And I'm going to build. I'm going to be like my master. When you sit up and you do what your master do, they want you to hate yourself and hate the identity of the person that created you. You said that God created Adam and Eve, and through Adam and Eve, all creation was made. So therefore, why should I hate God? Why should I hate the Creator for creating me? You want me to hate my image? You talked about my nose. You wanted me to hate my nose or whatever. I got a big nose. But you want me to hate my nose. You want me to hate my image. You want me to hate my reflection. You want me to hate who I am because you hate me. But I love me. And no matter how much you hate me, you still won't get from around me, which means there's an issue there. And now I'm being hated without cause. What's your motive? What's your cause, bro? What's your motive? Why you mad at me? What you mad at me for? I'm just trying to have. When I start to see, and this was the saddest part, I'm at the bottom and I ain't got nothing, right? And they were trying to compel me to hate people that have. And the thing about it, they trying to mess with me mentally, and it wasn't really working the way they wanted it to work. Because they want me to look at other people that have and hate them. What for? Same way he worked hard for his, I can work hard for mine and get the same thing. So that's when I started going through these issues where I couldn't get a job. I was going through that already, but I couldn't get a job. I was trying to finish school. I was trying to get my degree. How many years did I go to school with no degree? I'm getting up, I'm going to school, I'm doing what I got to do to earn a degree, but no degree. I remember a couple of years ago, I'm working as a teacher, and they're gonna sit up there and they're gonna try to make me feel bad, like they throwing something up in my face. It's like, um, you need a degree. You ain't got no degree. You ain't got nothing really. And I'm looking at myself. Why don't I have nothing? Explain to me how the hell I went to school this long and should have had multiple degrees and not one under my belt. Explain that to me. I don't feel bad no more. I don't feel bad not having a degree. I do feel bad not being able to really study. But we talked about the educational abuse because right now, when things get it the way they want it, you'll be stuck with your kids regardless. They ain't gonna be trying to take your kids through no government system. Your kids will be right there. If you homeless, the kids gonna be homeless right on the streets with you. Dumb as all outdoors. But you didn't see that as educational abuse. you you don't have food for the kids. See if they come trying to take your kids when they got it set up the way they got it set up and the way they want it. They ain't gonna come for no children. They ain't gonna care about your kids. They ain't gonna care about taking them from you. You can have a million doggone kids sleeping right down the tent on the street corner. Not one of them kids they ever gonna touch, take, or remove from you. You lucky if you can get to a free clinic. A free clinic gonna be what, like 10, 20, 30, 40 miles away? That's the free clinic. Trust me, and I talk about a lot of stuff that goes on at the free clinic because I'm pretty sure y'all been watching. I talk about, okay, can I get treated for it? Can you test me? But ma'am, you're not sexually active. I understand I'm not sexually active, but I'm being raped. I gotta get checked and treated. I don't want to die from AIDS or a curable disease of STD because STD can kill you. They don't tell y'all that stuff. And guess what? When the free clinics close and they say, okay, we won't have funding for free clinics anymore here in the state of Florida, what then? They offer these programs. We're looking on YouTube, and I love looking on YouTube, and they're offering programs. Oh, $1,400 a month, and you can pay your rent, your groceries, and this and that, and we're gonna send you $1,400 a month. You sign up for that program, you don't never get the card. You got your card hit. Your card been hit in such and such time. We'll look into it. We're gonna pay. You ain't getting that money. $2,050. That's not gonna happen. 250,000. No. We have debt consolidation loans where you consolidate all your debt and we'll pay it off and you pay us. Doesn't work. Now I already told y'all we're dealing with communication compromise, which that's dealing with the IP the IP address. Then we have the vendor host network, VHN. We already know all of this is tampered with. So there's really no communication, or VPN, there's really no communication that has not been tainted and placed up under somebody else's control. But try going to school to learn computers. See if you ever get in one. Try going to school to be a nurse. See how long it takes you to get into one. Try using a workforce program because everybody signed up for workforce to get those career grants. Of course, we done been there. Guess what? You ain't getting them. Try signing up for a SNAP program. Now the SNAP program, everything's supposed to be on the computer and everything, and they're supposed to give you $330 a week. See if you ever get the money for any of this stuff that they send up there and all these programs they send up. See if you get a dime for them. If you ain't paying them, you ain't getting nothing. And I'm gonna tell you something else too. Be careful with your checks because the company doesn't know it. You're going through vision compromise. The company doesn't know it. Sometimes the company's paying you one price and you're receiving another one, and they're ciphering the pay directly from the register or from the cashier or teller that you go cash a check with, or at before it's deposited in, they get theirs and offer up. So they getting a certain percentage of our pay regardless. And this is the craziest part. We work for them, but they still saying you get we give me a certain, we getting a certain percentage of your pay on top of what you're doing. It may be an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe a whole day. You're supposed to be making 24 an hour. They taking what, down to 18? How much money is that? That's what, like $6? $6? I'm supposed to make 24, but you take $6 off of every hour that I make. So you get paid off of every hour that I make. Every hour that I make, you get a paycheck off of that. And I never make what I'm supposed to make. And then on top of that, I might be short a couple of hours during my work week. So you got that too. And how much work did you do? But this is happening to everyday Americans. Enslavement, modern day slavery. They kept telling us modern day slavery, it's modern day slavery, it's modern day slavery. But what they're not understanding is that, hey, I'm suffering out here. They don't want us with money. How many times I heard them say, I don't want her with money. Why? Because you're trying to put a person into holism. So let's be real. The program set up for housing authority, they have a housing authority program, right? Think about the condition. Y'all kept wondering why these women kept letting these ugly, trifling men in the house. They were used as demonic possession. They couldn't stop them from coming in their house.